Welcome to Extra Time with Girls on the Ball. We are back. Happy New Year. It's January. It's 2024. We're feeling kind of sort of rested-ish.
Are we?
Sure. And the footy has already started. You ready?
I am.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Sophie.
And this is Extra Time with Girls on the Ball. Okay, in today's episode, we're going to run over the results of the fourth round of the FA Cup, because there was about 27 fixtures, it feels like. And we're also going to look ahead to the fifth round fixtures as well. One or two tasty ones that we're looking forward to. We're going to look ahead to the Barclays WSL fixtures, which start this weekend, including a very special little interview for you. And we're going to touch on the latest news from the Lionesses camp, which broke this morning. Plus, Sophie's going to give you her stand-up moment of the week, so start thinking, my dear, all right?
Let's get back in the groove of this.
We need to get back in the groove. Okay, let's quickly and efficiently run through the results of the FA Cup fourth round.
By the way, there were 16 fixtures, not 30, 28 or whatever you just said.
I like to exaggerate, but here we go.
Dramatic.
Aston Villa 0, Everton 3, Manchester United 5, Newcastle United 0, Durham 0, Manchester City 4, Sunderland 0, Southampton 2, Tottenham 3, Sheffield United 2, Chelsea 3, West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 3, Blackburn Rovers 1, Reading 1, Wolves 2, Arsenal 5, Watford 1, Luton Town 0, Brighton 6, Plymouth Argyle 1, Nottingham Forest 6, Genie Mac, so many sixes, Ipswich Town 1, Charlton Athletic 4, Bristol City 0, Liverpool 1, Burnley 1, Birmingham City 3, Derby County 0, Leicester City 4, and London City Lionesses 4, Moneyfields 0. Do you know what that reminds me of? I don't know if you've ever come across that station where they read out, like, the weather, where they kind of go through all the different, like...
No.
No?
I remember, like...
Is it like the shipping channel?
I remember,
or something?
like, teletext back in the day. Or, like, you turn on... What was that show on BBC?
That's
when
what I
they
mean.
were reading all the football scores out.
Oh, maybe it was that. Anyway.
It wasn't shipping, it was football.
Well, there's also that.
Someone, but yeah, back in the day when we were young.
In the comments.
And there was less TV around. You had to turn on the BBC, I think it was, and they'd read out the results one by one. Right,
well, I've probably just told everyone what they already knew, but there you go. Okay, quick fire, Soph. We did Aston Villa versus Everton, and we did London City Lionesses versus Moneyfields. Give our listeners a little bit of a quick rundown as to what happened in those games. Villa-Everton first.
Everton were really good. I think even though Brian Sorensen came over to us after the game when we did the interview and was like, you don't need to talk about defenders anymore. We don't need defenders. They still need defenders.
My face, Brian.
But they played really, really well. And I think it was the first time, for a long time that they've had that many numbers.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
So he said it was the first time they've had 10 against 10 in training, which is going to make a difference as well, I think. So, it's a massively good start to the year. They've been playing pretty well this season, considering all of the...
Arguably overachieved.
The problems that they've had. But, to get that result up and running against... They have actually a really good record against Aston Villa. So they sort of got their number over them. And I was really disappointed by Aston Villa. I think they turned up in their first 10 minutes, and then when they didn't get a goal... It's happened quite a few times this season, maybe, where they've just sort of struggled for ideas and then they get lax in possession. And with the kind of players that they have and the experienced players that they have, that shouldn't be happening. Rachel Corsie, Jordan Nobbs, Lucy Stanforth shouldn't be losing the ball like they have been doing. And that's a worry for them, I think, going into the second half of the season.
Yeah, I think the lacking ideas is definitely a big concern, because you're not always going to be ahead in matches. You need to be able to problem solve, and I think that's definitely an area they're struggling. And then we went to London City Lionesses versus Moneyfields, one of those kind of fun FA Cup fixtures that we love, where you have a team making history by making it to the fourth round for the first time, and London City Lionesses won, so they made history as well. They've never gone beyond the fourth round. I really enjoyed this match. Despite the scoreline, I thought Moneyfields did a pretty good job, particularly in the first half.
Yeah, it was just gutting when they scored, because they scored, the board went up for a minute to go, and I think 30 seconds into that, Rouge Littleton put the ball in the back of the net. So that was the frustrating thing for them, because can you imagine if they'd gone into half-time? You never, probability-wise, London City would have been strong in the second half and come on and win the game. But it was just the gutting nature of conceding in that particular time, and they were really gutsy in that first half. I messaged you and I said you couldn't really tell which was the team of, ex-international / current international
/ fully professional.
Fully professional. Moneyfields really took it to them. They had chances as well. I think it was Kim Fuller who came really close, and she had that dipping shot that was tipped over the bar by Hermione Cole. So yeah, it was an interesting game. It was one of those proper cup games, I think. And yeah, Moneyfields will go home with their heads held high. They're two tiers below them. They've got a big season ahead as well. They've got a lot of football left to play. And I think that will do them massively a lot of good, even despite the score. The fact that it was actually a pretty reasonable score. It was 4-0. It wasn't like an 8-0 defeat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And 2 of those goals came within 4 minutes in the second half as well. So context is important, but arguably they did themselves very proud. And congratulations to London City Lionesses as well, going through. There were no real massive cup sets. Broadly speaking, most fixtures probably went the way you expected, except for maybe Wolves versus
against
Reading.
Brighton.
Wolves again. This is the 5th round, my darling.
Oh, that's the 5th round.
You let me do the running order. You let me pose the questions to you. Wolves versus Reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wolves actually outplayed Reading as well. They had more possession, more chances, and they fully deserved to go through in that fixture. So I'm not that surprised given where Reading are at the moment. Maybe, yes, they're a championship team, but the club is beset by problems.
Just slipping backwards.
They've gone from that full-time model to the part-time model this season. They've lost a few experienced heads. Sane Troelsgaard has just left as well. So I think it's a problem for them, and for them their focus has to be staying in the championship. And yes, they'll want to carry it on in the FA Cup, especially financial reasons. But it's probably good for their championship season that they get to just focus on that for a bit.
Another kind of standout points, Sheffield ran Spurs very close. They were 2-0 up at one point, and Spurs managed to win that 3-2. Chelsea needed extra time to beat West Ham. So a few little moments here and there, but largely it kind of went maybe as you would have expected. We have the 5th round fixtures now, and there's no, I was really hoping for some real, juicy, tasty fixtures. And arguably Arsenal versus Manchester City is a juicy, tasty fixture, but I would have loved 2 lower down teams to face each other, just because then you'd know they're going through. But the 5th round fixtures, here's how they look.
I actually really like this.
Okay, fine. Well, you can tell me why in a minute.
You.
London City Lionesses versus Liverpool, Arsenal versus Manchester City, Leicester City versus Birmingham City, Wolves versus Brighton, Tottenham versus Charlton, Nottingham Forest versus Everton, Southampton versus Manchester United, Chelsea versus Crystal Palace. Now, I'm quite excited by the fact that both Wolves and Nottingham Forest get to play at home. That is very exciting. Some WSL fixtures for them as well. So that's an exciting thing to look forward to. And I'm also looking forward to Southampton Manchester United. That's the one that stands out for me. What about you?
Yeah, so I seem to be about the only one who is loving this draw. It seems from people that I talk to, they're all like, oh, it's a bit, But actually, so obviously everyone will look at Arsenal, Manchester City. That's the key one. I think Arsenal had Chelsea at this stage last season, or was it the stage before? I think it was this stage.
5th round,
and,
yeah.
So they seem to have this habit of meeting big teams in the 5th round. So we'll see what they can do against Manchester City. I really as you say, for me, the FA Cup is about these kind of big fixtures. And if Wolves had got Nottingham Forest, yes, one of them would have gone through to the quarter-final. But you've now got 2 fixtures at home for both FAWNL ties where they can bring in a big crowd against WSL teams who are obviously very, very good and are 2 levels above them. But also they're not of the kind of they're not facing Arsenal. Mm-hmm. So they will still think there's probably a chance in there that if on their day they can put it together, they can really challenge those teams and take it to them. And I just, that's the magic of the Cup, them playing at home. And I remember, was it 3 seasons ago? Maybe more than that, when Crawley Wasps got Arsenal.
Yes.
Do you remember that occasion at that ground where you were literally on top of the pitch?
It was 5 deep around the pitch.
And we were in a field, and they brought in an extra stand for the day. And that's what the FA Cup is about. So I'm very excited for those. And I think St Mary's hosting Southampton against United is going to be big too.
Yeah.
And we'll draw in a big crowd.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking forward to as well. Okay, before all of that happens, we have, of course, got the WSL back up and running and returning at the weekend. Here's what we've got coming up. Friday night, under the lights, we've got Leicester City versus Aston Villa. Saturday, we've got Arsenal versus Everton. Sunday, we've got Chelsea versus Man United, the early kickoff. Then Brighton versus Bristol. Man City versus Liverpool. And then the evening kickoff of West Ham versus Tottenham. So we are going to be at Arsenal versus Everton on Saturday, and then I'm doing Chelsea versus Manchester United, and you're doing Brighton versus Bristol. Now, normally we would probably do a Friday evening kickoff, but I'm actually quite looking forward to watching this one on the couch with a glass of wine, I'm not going to lie.
If it was going to be at the King Power, I would have gone, but because it's in Burton, I think, at the Pirelli Stadium, which we're in Folkestone at the moment, so it takes a bit of a while to get up there on a Friday night, especially
getting around London.
At rush hour in these freezing conditions as well, which is meant to be for the weekend. So very happy to be chilled on the couch watching that one at home. And
I'd also say, as a photographer, that is a difficult stadium to shoot at night.
Yeah,
I don't get the best photos. It is not easy. Anyway, I'm really looking forward to that one. Arguably, the biggest fixture of the weekend is Chelsea versus Manchester United. Very excited about this one. It is, of course, happening at Stamford Bridge. And we, Sophie, spent some time at Stamford Bridge yesterday chatting to a few players. Now, as promised, we have a special interview in this week's episode, and it is Swedish sensation Johanna Rytting Kaneryd, who joined you, Sophie, for a little bit of a chat about how things are going at Chelsea and what it was like coming up against Häcken. Here's what she had to say.
Hi Anna, thanks for joining us today at Stamford Bridge ahead of the big game on Sunday. I think there's over 20,000 now due to come here, so how are you looking forward to that game and what do you kind of expect from it?
Oh, I can't wait. 20,000 tickets already sold. It's of course always nice to play in front of like a big audience, so it's going to be a tough game, but really looking forward for it. Just came back from a winter break, and of course we have to work on some things, but we have a week now and we can really set our game together. So I'm super excited, and I can't wait, seriously.
You have a pretty good record against Manchester United as well. I know they're a tough opposition, and it's been a while since the WSL was on, but I guess that kind of confidence, that must give you confidence going into that game.
Yeah, definitely. We know what we can do and what we have done against them. So, of course, that's a boost for your confidence. When we play at our best, we know like what kind of level we can reach. So it's always good to go into a game with good games.
And playing here as well in the main stadium, it's pretty special. Does it ever get old?
No, seriously. Every time I step out on this pitch, it's something special. It's a different feeling from what you're used to. First time stepping out here, it was just like, I can't really explain it. It's just an amazing feeling in front of the fans. So much like memories coming back every time I'm out here. So it's really nice that we are able to play these like so many games this year here.
A message on your fans. I know the Chelsea support has grown massively in recent years, and what do they provide you as a squad when you go out on the pitch, either here or at Kings Meadow, to cheer you on? What does that give you motivation to continue?
Yeah, definitely. It doesn't matter if we play at Kings Meadow or if it's here. You hear them for 90 minutes plus. It's something special with our fans. I can't really explain it. It's just like they are here for you, and you know that they always have your back. And for me, it's like really nice knowing that they're gonna support us. They're gonna cheer for us, and it's just I'm smiling just when I talk about it, because seriously, from the start when I joined this team, it was something special with the fans, and it's just fun that we get more and more, and just the fact that we sold over 20,000 tickets now till Sunday, it's amazing, and I'm so happy we have our Chelsea fans.
For sure. And how would you reflect on this WSL season so far? Because the league is getting stronger every year. I'm sure you feel that as players. We can certainly see it. So how do you rate it from a Chelsea point of view?
It's actually a big difference from last year. Teams are getting better, and even if we are top of the league, we haven't really had a season where everything's been great. We have been struggling. Of course, we had some downs, Arsenal example, but I feel like we have such a strong squad. We really want to achieve our goals this year, and especially with Emma leaving, it's like, we want to finish at our best, and I think that's a really nice feeling in this team, that everyone are on the same page, and even if we have some downs, we always know that we're gonna get back from it. So I'm excited for this half year now that is coming up, and of course we need to work hard every day, but I think everyone knows what the Chelsea standards are, and when we are at our best, we are hard to beat. So let's just hope everything goes well.
Sure. And for you, it's your second season at the club. Are you feeling a lot more settled now? How has that adaptation period kind of progressed, and what do you think you've developed as a player?
It's a big difference from last year. It's always the impressions, to get to know your teammates, get the connections on the and the relationship on the pitch. Last year for me was more about just learning, getting better every day, which I felt that I succeeded with. Of course, when things are going good, you always want to reach for more, and I'm a player that always want to play. Of course, all the players want to play, and last year was mentally, it was hard, ups and downs. Some periods I played more, some periods I played less, but my goal was to get better as a footballer, and I think I really became a better footballer. So this year I feel definitely more confident. I feel like my role is clear. I feel like my teammates know what they can get out of me, and the goal for this season was to help the team to win, and with that, it's that kind of player that I am is a player that likes to do 1v1s, to do assists, to score some goals. I really want to be, I'm an offensive player, and I really want to help the team to win, and then you have to score and do assists. So so far it's been good. I always want to go for more, but I feel good so far.
It's like getting the foundations in place.
Exactly.
I was going to ask you about growing up in Sweden and coming through the Swedish league, and how much did that really give you the foundations as a football player? And we've seen quite a few Swedish players come over as well, so that must really help, having a few of you around, especially at Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. Magda, who played here for years, she's an example of what hard work is, and I feel like in Sweden it is a lot about working hard, be physical, strong, and more and more players from Sweden come to England, and it's a reason for that. I think the English league is the best league right now, and I'm super happy that I grew up in Sweden and started to play football with my twin brother and my dad as a coach, and I moved out from home when I was 15. I've always know that I want to play football and I want to be a professional football player. So it's really good to be here, and I'm enjoying every minute.
You got to go back to Sweden just before Christmas with to go and play Häcken, your old club as well. What was that experience like? Because you look really up for it.
It was a special feeling for sure. It was just weird to be back, where I kind of got my breakthrough. It's it's so many different feelings, and I was really motivated for that game. I really wanted to show what I'm going for and what kind of player I've become. So I was really happy to play against Häcken again, and with my family there watching the game, and just the fact when I went off the pitch that both the Chelsea fans and the Häcken fans was cheering for me was the weirdest feeling ever. I was just smiling, I think you could tell that I was really enjoying it. So it's probably one of those things I will remember forever.
I guess when you look at that game, it was really important to get that win, to go the top of the group in the Champions League. And now you've got 2 games left. You're back here against Real Madrid next week, and then Paris away. Is it really important to have it in your hands and it be in control now to get that progression to the next round?
Yeah, definitely. We want to win every game, and I mean, it was a weird game against Real Madrid away where we kind of got robbed, and then we played a shit game, to be honest, against Häcken here at Stamford Bridge. So not only for the fans, but for everyone, we want to be better, and we want to be top of the league. We want to win every game. So, just the feeling to know that, okay, we are top of the league, a good feeling, but it's out on the pitch where you can show what you're going for. So I'm really excited for these 2 games coming up. Real Madrid at home at our bridge. It's it's gonna be super excited.
As you mentioned, like, there's always obstacles in the way. The game at Real Madrid was obviously one of those obstacles. But as a team, you're kind of known as the mentality monsters. So what do you think has been key to that development of that kind of mental side of winning and continuing to win, even if you're not always at your best, but finding a way?
It's some kind of... I was talking with Nattis today, the new player, my Swedish friend, and it was her first game yesterday, and she said to me, like, it's weird, even though we are 1-0 down, it's still like a feeling that we're gonna score. Yeah. And that's something that I felt from the beginning of like this season, that you just know it. You just know that we are gonna come, even if we have downs, even if we're not really playing great, we know that we will get through it, and we will score. And that's been few of the games we haven't really been at our best, but we still won. So it's just a mentality thing. Like, if you play in Chelsea, you need to be strong mentally, and you need to you both, like, I think it was Paris at home, didn't play at our best the first half, did some changes in halftime. Emma was pretty clear with what she wanted, and second half we are a completely new team, and that says a lot about our mentality and the coaching staff and everything we have around. It's just a feeling in this squad that we know we are good, and we know that we can always be better.
And I guess that comes from the top as well. Emma Hayes, we know she's a serial winner. It's her last season at the club. What has she kind of done for you as a player, and how much does this last 6 months mean for you to try and get more trophies for her?
No, she's been such an important role in my football career. It was she that brought me into this club, and of course she was challenging me last year, but with a goal to be a better footballer, which I think been really clear from the beginning. And just like small little details. She's not just a coach; she's so much more. Like, personally, she's one of the best coaches I ever had, not just as a coach, but as a person as well. And I think that's really important in this environment. Have to have a coach that understands that you are a human as well. And I think, she's such an amazing person at so many different things. So, she's such a great person, and I for sure want to finish this season at the best possible. So
Okay, good chat. Did you enjoy that?
I did, very much so.
I really enjoyed her little story about what it was like going back to Häcken.
Yeah, and I just think, like, she was really open, and obviously it's been a journey for her at Chelsea. It's her second season, as we alluded to, and I think last year she would have probably been not very happy with the amount of minutes that she's got, and the amount of influence that she was able to have on games. This year that's going up a bit, so I think there's progress there. And you, as you heard, she talks so highly of Emma Hayes and the project at Chelsea, so she seems very settled, and really good to talk to her, and an exciting few weeks ahead for them.
Yeah, it was a good day all round at Stamford Bridge. Now, this morning we had the breaking news, that Sarina Wiegman has extended her contract with the Lionesses until 2027. Are you surprised, Sophie? I know you're happy.
I'm very happy. I'm not surprised at all. I think while they got to the World Cup final last time out, this contract now means that she'll be there for the next World Cup. It runs up until the end of that World Cup. So 2027 World Cup, and I think there's unfinished business there. I think also the feeling that they had to do without so many players.
Yes.
It's kind of, they did so well given what they had to work with and the sort of blows that they had to overcome with like Beth Mead, Leah Williamson, Millie Bright. I know Millie Bright played, but she wasn't fit, and we're seeing the repercussions of that now. So I think she wanted another stab at it, probably. And it means we get another Euros with her at England next summer. I think it's going to be really interesting this next period because we've got friendlies in February. It was announced today that we're going overseas, so hopefully somewhere warm. Please, I need some vitamin D. Yeah, I want to see the football, but mainly for the sun.
Yeah, 100%.
Of course. No, mainly for the football, of course. So that's going to be interesting what they do in February. Then you've got European qualifiers that run from spring, so April, through to, I think, it's the second window, so October. And then you've got a good, couple of windows, 3-4 windows, 2-3 windows maybe, where you can play with things a bit and bring, November window, why not give the younger players a chance? It will be friendlies if they qualify, which, touch wood, they will, straight through. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what she does in that time that she has now, in the time that she's being afforded because there's no Olympics. Yeah,
and I think, she's often accused and maybe has a bit of a pattern of not bringing through a lot of players. But I think with England particularly and the way the tournaments fell because of COVID, it was a very quick turnaround to the Euros and then a very quick turnaround to the World Cup. So hopefully we get to see some new blood coming through and we get to have a couple of friendlies now as well, which is something to look forward to.
And I'm pretty sure across Europe, there's been a lot of stable squads. Yes, 1 or 2 players have come in here and there, and the same with England. Like Lauren James wasn't anywhere near the Europe 2022 squad, and she came in and she's now made herself a starter. You're looking at Niamh Charles now, who's since the summer has made herself a starter. So I think sometimes we want mass change, and actually that never happens in international football. You're going to stick with the spine of the team that you have. And it's not like all of them are ancient. They're still pretty young squads.
And arguably we had so many injuries, players did come through and to replace them as well.
Yeah, but you're looking at someone like a Kira Walsh, who's in essentially the prime of her career. You've got, Georgia Stanway, Ella Toone, Alessia Russo, Lauren Hemp. They're not old players. They're still pretty young and actually arguably have done more in their young years than you would expect them to do because you hit your prime at 27, 28. So, that it's going to be interesting to see what she does. I think there will be players coming through. I don't think there will be the numbers people will always want them to.
Can't keep everyone happy. If
you bring in, 2-3 players, and that's change. It's refreshing the squad and it's giving people opportunities. So
yeah,
I think that will be key. Yeah.
Well, I was at the press conference today and it's safe to say the FA are delighted to hold on to her for another few years. She's just won the FIFA Best Coach of the Year again for a 4th time. Mary Earp's also picking up goalkeeper again. Aitana Bonmati getting Player of the Year, which we're very, very pleased about. No one more deserving. The 11 was slightly...
Yeah,
bit more of a surprise, but that's a longer podcast.
I always think so. But also I think too much time is spent on it. It's players voting for it. It's a weird system that some players can vote for players that's not even on the recommended playing sheet. It's all a bit higgledy-piggledy. Players obviously don't watch that much football as much as we
and maybe
probably
we
would expect.
Too much from them to do that.
And it's what they see on the pitch, and if they're watching, I don't know, Alessia Russo every week. Yes, there were some people that I would have put in that would have been different. I think Anna Badger should have been in there, but
maybe there's other factors as well that come into it in terms of what players do off the pitch as well. So there's probably a lot of different factors. But the top 3 awards, I think, nothing too controversial.
Yeah, but also awards. It's great, and on Matty Earps, and I think the issue for the Coach of the Year one is the problem is that, in any given year, the World Cup winning coach wins that award, but not obviously for obvious reasons. Vilda cannot win that award for many reasons.
Yes.
And
Grossman.
So it probably goes in an international year to the tournament, the second runner-up in that. And I think that's a problem because World Cups and Euros will always trump domestic seasons.
Yeah.
I also think, reaching a World Cup final is pretty big, and people kind of go, oh, well, they lost it. Yeah, they lost it, but to get there, You have to be in the best two in the
pretty
world.
damn good, especially when you've got so many
You
players
can
out as
understand
well.
why they're in the top of people's brains
Yeah,
as well.
I don't think those top 3 were particularly controversial. Okay, now is the time for you to hit me with your standout moment of the weekend, please, to wrap up our first pod of 2024.
Can I have 2?
Okay, because it's the first pod of 2024, you can have 2.
So my first one is Rosella Iron's 96th minute winner against Sheffield, because, I mean, it was a ball from Artinen, who's been out for a while. I think it was with the assist, and it went straight through to her and she lifted it over the keeper. Yes, Stenson got a hand to it, but it was just the dramatic nature of that comeback. So, and pure, like, Bobby Ball, I think, in terms of, like, the attacking threat that they offer to games.
And so exciting to see Spurs being able to do something like that.
It was a kind of different, it wasn't a team goal like Martha Thomas's before the break, but it was still. And then my second one is the picture perfect celebrations. So we've got Ella Toon, which unfortunately is not been captured by a photographer. It's only been captured by a video.
A couple of fans in the crowd.
They did it. I don't know what they did. They did it facing the
fans,
the dugout.
Of course.
Well, the side of the dugout.
Yeah, I know.
And all of the photographers on that picture at the end of the pitch. So, but you had Maya Letizia, Millie Turner, Lucia Garcia.
Yeah, there was a whole.
There was the Avengers. Yeah. So yeah, Ella Toon.
Ace.
Yeah, no, very, very good. And then Mia Fischel, Big Fish.
Big Fish.
So I'm giving it to the celebrations.
Yeah, I love that as well. Love that. Okay, that's very worthy of 2. Although if you count the 2 celebrations, it's 3. But we'll let you away with it. Okay, guys.
I grouped them together.
It's fine. That is a wrap on the first episode of Extra Time with Girls on the Ball in 2024. We will no doubt have plenty to discuss in our next episode, not only rounding up the WSL fixtures, but also looking ahead to the Champions League, which is back. And weirdly, we've got group stages still in January to look forward to. It's very strange. And if you're really lucky, you might get a little something extra before then. So keep your ears peeled. I don't know. Keep listening. Keep an eye on your podcast lists, because something might drop very soon. Until then, ciao.